Good morning, everyone. Erica with Aurora Heart Healing. My topic for today is going to be, and I have it written down, why releasing trapped emotions help with expansion, and expanding your emotional capacity for yourself and for others. So, I want to explain a little bit about my background so that you can understand where I'm coming from and why it is that I'm so passionate about helping people heal through their emotions, understanding their own emotions, and why they're so valuable. So, this is a little bit more directed towards males, but that's okay because I know that women can benefit from this too. Yesterday, I was on a therapy call. Yes, I do therapy too. I do believe that we all have things within us that if we're not able to step back or have someone else tell us, hey, I don't know if this is healthy, then we might get stuck in our own loops and we might not be able to fully understand why or what things are happening that we're actually causing because of limited beliefs or emotions that we just do not understand how to heal. So, with that being said, um, I was talking to my therapist yesterday, and we were talking about how I've been having these issues a lot surrounding men. And when we were talking, I had asked her about what it is that she saw within society in that aspect of me feeling just wounded by the males in the world around me, and how it's very hard for me to be able to connect or to really be open and honest and vulnerable with a lot of the males that have been in my life prior and currently. And she was saying men are really struggling right now. They are having a really hard time relating to themselves, relating to others, and relating in relationship in general. And when I was talking about that to her, we were touching on different subjects, but a lot of it had to do with emotional capacity, which, what does that even mean? So I'm going to give you an example, okay? Here is my water bottle. Oops. So here's my water bottle. And I'm going to liken this to myself. Okay. I have cleared a lot of different energy. There's been a lot of limiting beliefs that I've been able to cleanse out of me. One of the limiting beliefs was that men only want women for one thing. That was a huge piece of what was inside me that was making me make not the best decisions. So as I was clearing, I mean, this has been about 10 years of just learning and unlearning different things in my life that I did not know was affecting me as much as they were. So there's still stuff in there. There's still things that I am learning about that are deeply rooted within me. But imagine if I had never done any of that work and I was at full capacity, and anything that happened would create this tailspin within me where I didn't want to move forward in life, or I had a lot of trouble, or whatever the case may be that I was facing at that time. So I was at full capacity before I started doing the internal work. There was nothing else that I could have. It was kind of like having a Dr. Pepper or a soda and putting a Mentos in it. It was just constant explosions all the time because I didn't have any more space to hold anything else. There was no way that I could fill myself, my bottle up with anything else because there was so much that had not been addressed before. So, when you actually start to recognize what is in this bottle, you start to build more capacity. So now, if something happens, yes, It'll be like a drop of water in here. It'll make a little bit of a ripple, but it will not lead to an explosion anymore. And that is because I have regulated within myself that, hey, I'm clearing this out. These limiting beliefs, I don't need them anymore. All of these different things, the abuse that I suffered as a child, the bullying when I was the bully and when I was bullied. So, all of those different energies, all of those different things have been poured out of me. So I have much more capacity to be able to deal with the stresses of life. Do I sometimes explode? Yeah, of course. I think that that's just a part of life. But is that a constant state of survival that I'm living in? No, absolutely not. It's much different than when I was younger. So, why is it so important? Well, to be honest, if you are constantly being reactive, are you enjoyable to be around? Sometimes you might not be. It might be hard for people to want to be around you because you're lashing out. Maybe you're coming from a place of abandonment and you're very anxious and needy. Whatever the case may be, I use some of those because it was what I had to go through and what I lived and had to heal through. And I'm not going to say some of those things do not continuously show up in my life, but they show up less and less. And the degree, the severity is much less. So, as I continue to clear this stuff from myself, the time that I was 8 years old and my sister locked me out of the house in a snowstorm, or different aspects like me not being able to get a job, or even me getting a job and being so overrun because I felt like this is the last job in the world that I'll have that I'll be able to make this amount of money. All of those are limiting beliefs. And what is it that's underneath that? I'll use my job first as a specific example. So I became a dental office manager and I was making more money than I'd ever made in my whole life. And I was so excited about that financial piece. But inside, I felt empty. I felt like there was not much else that I got to do in my life because it was being so consumed with work. And what was it that I was holding on to? Because I stayed at that job for quite a while. And unfortunately, they abused me in different ways. But part of it was that I allowed it. I was allowing myself to work 50 hours a week because I thought money was what was valuable. Money made me valuable. And what was that? Why was that? Well, parents, all of these different things and culture, people, my family, putting more value on finances than putting value on who I was. Oh, I'm so proud of you because you're a dental office manager. You're finally doing something with yourself. Well, actually, I've been doing something with myself for my whole life. So that worthless feeling was an underlying reason why I stuck it out. Another example is staying in relationships where I had to prove my love. I had to show people, hey, I care, and continuously pouring out when I wasn't being equally reciprocated in that energy that I was pouring out. And that was super painful. It was painful for years, not just in past relationships recently, but in relationships as a whole. Saying, hey, I'll be here. I'll love you. I got you. And not feeling that back. Why was it that I was doing that? Well, a lot of the things that I remember as a child was, hey, you need to, and this was a phrase that I heard a lot in my life was, you need to be smart because you're not beautiful. Okay, you really need to make sure that your man is happy. But then where does that leave me as well? You need to find yourself someone. You need to stick it out with people. You need to, all of those were abandoning myself. But what was the underlying feelings of each of those self abandonings? Creative insecurity. Will there ever be someone that treats me well? Feeling like I am somehow worth less than a man. Is that accurate? No. Um, believing that my only worth, my only value is either in my brain or my body, but not my soul, who I am, what it is I have to offer, which in reality, that's all anyone ever wants to be, is seen for who they are, not what they do for others. And all of those different things have been cleansed out of me. And it's given me the ability to have a deeper and more expansive emotional capacity to see others where they are. My kids, if they make a mistake, I've understood more and more how to address mistakes without making them feel like they're worth less. Helping understand where, hey, maybe I don't know everything. And that does not attack my worth, my value as a person. I know different things. This is what I have to offer. Because when we have a very low emotional capacity, we probably don't see very much value in ourselves. And that's usually the case where what we do is more important than who we are. And what we think can sometimes override what we feel in our hearts is correct and true. And when you expand that, when you let go of some of those things that have been holding you down from this life, past life, even generational, one of the biggest things that I've seen generationally is that so many women in the Hispanic cultures, we've been taught that we are valuable because we cook, we clean, we bear children, we take care of those children. Our sole purpose is to be taking care of a person, another person. That is our, whoa, yay, we got picked. Well, when you let go of those limiting beliefs, you're actually able to pick yourself. I choose to be the person that deserves reciprocated energy. I'm choosing, I don't need to prove myself constantly by cooking every day, cleaning every day, taking care of the kids every day. I prove my value, my worth because I'm able to build an empire. I'm able to go out and network. I am an intelligent person that has value with my knowledge and who I am and what it is I have to offer into this world. So as you clear trapped energies, trapped emotions, you continuously build your capacity to be able to love not just yourself, but others as well. And it's less overwhelming because if you're full at capacity constantly and trying to pour in more and more experience every single day, what are you doing? You're weighing yourself down. Imagine putting rocks in here, how much heavier it is if that's the case. So take time to recognize some of the things that really resonated with you. Maybe it's a limiting belief that says you're not allowed to be you. Maybe it's a limiting belief that wraps your value into what you do and how much money you can make instead of your truth, the love you have to offer this world, yourself. Maybe it's being told to stay quiet through abuse or through judgments, or even stay quiet when you know in your heart that you know better, or that you're going against something, or you're not doing the right thing. You have an internal compass. And when our emotions are wonky and we don't understand them and we're not thinking clearly because we can't feel clearly, then a lot of times our life turns into chaos. And that chaos leaks out into the rest of the world around you. So for today, I want to ask you to evaluate some of those things that have been stuck within you, that have taken on or taken over some of that space within you, so that you can start to expand yourself emotionally. So you can actually really heal some of those pieces and be able to open yourself up for more experiences. Because if you're stuck in worthlessness, self abandonment, self abuse, there's really no moving forward. And the biggest side effect of feeling your feelings, healing those experiences within you, is that you feel happier. I know that it sounds very counterintuitive, but when you meet yourself in the depth of your suffering, you can also meet yourself in the highest of highs of joy and happiness. And I know it's going to sound interesting, weird, but if you've ever had an experience where after you look back and you say, wow, that was really painful, but I got so much out of it, it's because you have met yourself in the depths of your pain, but also in the depths of your joy. And we cannot know how happy we can be without meeting ourselves in the most suffering that we've ever had. And I hope that this right now gives you the ability to understand some of those pieces that might be missing for you. If you've gone to therapy for years and years, like I did, and you didn't feel or see those different results, you might have been actually needing to marry your mind, which is talking, your heart, body, and your soul, which is the energetic piece. Because we need to be able to pull all of that together to truly live our best lives. My friends, everything is spiritual. Even when we don't believe it or we don't know that it's true, it truly is. And the more that we marry the mind, body, and the spirit, the happier that we are, but the happier that we can ripple out that into the world too. So today, look at your suffering a little bit. Heal those places that told you that you weren't enough, just as you are. You are. You're beautiful. I love you all.